You have to say good afternoon for me.
It's too early in the morning for that. It's too confusing for me. But I do wish you a good afternoon.
Don't you think that these differences in times, sometimes they are interesting?
They are interesting, particularly daylight savings time. I'm jealous of you because your time
Really?
doesn't change.
Well, I remember 4 years ago, I was in Thailand for tourism, by the way.
Nice.
I spent actually a month there. I don't know whether you have an experience just to go there. I don't know. Well, you went there?
I've been to Thailand. It's beautiful.
What do you think of it?
It's beautiful.
Well, it's a land of adventure, by the way. Yes, there is a difference in time. 4 hours between Iraq and Thailand. 4 hours.
Yes,
And the
it's
way,
always
yeah,
it's
yeah.
always a little confusing when you're changing times, I suppose. I've heard that if you travel, for every hour of time difference, you have to let one day to get used to the time difference. So if it's 4 hours difference to Thailand, I think it would take 4 days to get accustomed to the time change. But I'm not sure if that's true. It sounds true to me though. Oh, how is everybody today? Is everybody good?
Yes, we're all good. Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
How are
Kathy.
you?
Yes, I am good. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, we are good. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. I think that today we're going to have a lot of people who aren't going to be able to attend because they're celebrating Nowruz, which is no problem because we'll have the recording. So thank you to those who have come, and thanks for emailing me for people who were texting, people who weren't able to attend yesterday. It's really not a problem. You're not going to be penalized or anything of that nature. And the recordings will be available, but I would say that one thing that's even more important than viewing the recordings is trying to experiment. So if you're not here today, but you're viewing this recording, I recommend that you prioritize experimenting with the different activities that we're going to do today, so that you're comfortable with it. And same for the people who are able to attend in person. If any of these are new digital tools or techniques for you, please try to set aside a little bit of time outside of our time together to practice on your own. You might try creating some of these activities for your students or even just for yourself. I want to apologize for the technical difficulties that we had yesterday. I think it was challenging to move to Google Classroom. And one of the reasons that that was maybe a little more challenging than usual is because this Google Classroom account that we're using is not an institutional account. It means that we're all logging in with different kinds of emails. So some of you may have signed into the course with your Gmail. Some of you might have signed into the course with your institutional mail. And so if you then access it from a different email, you have to sign up for the course again. So I've put the class name in, oh, I have an echo. I'm gonna actually ask you to mute yourselves. I think that will get rid of the echo. So if you had time to read the text or look at the materials this morning, I've posted some troubleshooting. So I know we lost one person who wasn't able to migrate to Google Meet at all. I'm so sorry. I don't think you missed very much. You mostly missed us having some confusion about how Google Meets was going to work. And then, of course, I think Mohammed was unable to join with his audio. So I've posted in the WhatsApp chat as well as in the email our Google Class link and code to access it. And that's all you should need to access it. I recommend accessing it through your Gmail. It will make it easier because this is not an institutional account. Yes, did someone have a question?
Okay, ma'am, I'm just keep trying to connect to G using my email, not formal one, institutional one. Rather, I use my own private mail.
And it's not working?
Not yet, I'm still trying, ma'am. Just give me 1 minute, please.
Okay. Yeah, try in there. Let us know how it goes. I can add you manually, but I think it's probably good to be able to troubleshoot why you can't join the class, because all of the settings are set so that with that link and code, you should be able to join the class without being added by your teacher. You know, the teacher role in the course. For Mohammed, who was unable to join with the audio, I think that may be because you need to allow your computer to access your settings and then give permission for whichever browser you're using, which might be Mozilla, Safari, Google Chrome. There are also some others to access your microphone and video. And I've posted some in our Google Classroom, some instructions on how to troubleshoot that. But what I'd also like to do is a kind of apart from the main group, if you're having trouble accessing Google Meet or accessing our Google Classroom, I would love for you to send me a text in WhatsApp, and we can find another time this week that's convenient for us. And we can have a one-on-one session where we try to figure out what's happening. And I think that will be easier than trying to figure out, you know, what's happening with several different people at the same time. But we are going to use Google Classroom today. So Mohammed Farhan, were you able to get in? Oh, I muted you. You muted yourself. Can you unmute yourself or type in the chat?
Okay, ma'am. It tells me that you cannot join this classroom. You need permission from your teacher.
Okay, can you type your email into the chat and I will manually add you to that course.
Okay.
Thank you. Is everybody else in Google Classroom right now? If you're not, can you type no in the chat? Okay, this is very nice. So let me just write down your name so that we can figure out why.
Here is my name.
Great.
Mohammed Dara, 1977 at Gmail.
Perfect. I'm just going to take, so sometimes I take notes in my notebook as well, because when I'm working online, if I have like 3 different browsers open, so it's easier for me to find information if it's directly in front of me on the table. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. And I think you can see my slides. Can you see the slides? Can you give me a thumbs up?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, it's clear.
Wonderful. So today's goal is an extension of yesterday's goal. Yesterday, we did a presentation and then we started to do some interactive work, but we encountered technical difficulties. And so we kind of aborted that objective for yesterday. So today, we're going to focus on your practice with Google Suites and Google Classroom. So for our agenda, oops, I'm sorry. I kind of talked about troubleshooting at the beginning. So let's edit that. We already did troubleshooting. I would love a volunteer assistant. Poor Mohammed, I think he had a lot of stress yesterday because he had technical difficulties of his own.
Yes, I regret this technical problem yesterday. Could you hear me, please?
I heard you, and then I also heard someone
Thank you
else.
so much. I have already installed Mozilla Firefox, but in fact, I have also tried to speak and be heard, but unfortunately, the same problem happened.
That's
I don't know.
That's so
Yes.
strange. So maybe
I'm gonna change my PC.
No, I don't think you need to do that. I think probably, I think what we should do is just text me on WhatsApp, and we'll find like a separate time to figure out why that didn't work for you, and we can experiment with some different things.
If the problem with my PC, then Google Zoom wouldn't have been with such a problem.
Right. I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem with the permission settings.
I have, I have checked up the permission, in fact, and I made allow options for all the microphone and camera options, but in fact, the same problem.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think for now, let's leave this question. Because I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I think we'll have to look at your specific computer. So
it's not a big deal.
What?
It's not a big deal. I'm gonna deal with this problem inshallah later.
Well, yeah, and I'm happy to help you deal with the problem. But please send me a text in WhatsApp, and we'll find like a separate time to work on that.
Okay,
problem.
okay. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm really sorry that happened. And then let's see. Did I hear Thana? Did somebody else have a question or a comment? No? Oh, okay. All right. So volunteer assistant.
Yes, it's me today. It's me today.
Okay.
I had Wafa and Ahmed both volunteered. Would you both like to volunteer?
Yeah,
Okay, if
I
you
believe
need any help,
it
I
will
would
be.
like to help.
Well,
Hold on.
it would be better. Sorry, it would be better just to have two volunteers, because if there is a problem with one volunteer, the other will complete. I believe it will be better for this.
So you need two deputies.
Two deputies.
So what do you think? Two volunteers.
All right. I think that's a good idea. Thana, would you mind monitoring the WhatsApp group for me? Because yesterday,
Yes, no problem.
great. I had so many messages on WhatsApp about the technical problems that I couldn't see them all and also communicate with the people in our meeting. So I would really appreciate that.
I will control the WhatsApp group messages and questions, no problem.
Thank you. And then Ahmed, would you
I
mind?
would be with the chat in the Zoom.
Exactly.
With the chat in the Zoom and with Google. It's
perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. I really appreciate it.
That's okay.
All right. Now I'm going to minimize you again for a second. All right. So we are going to, whoops. I'm going to get rid of this. Keep text only. There we go. Okay. We're going to access Google Classroom, which I already talked about as well. And we're going to spend the bulk of today working on interactive activities, experimenting with Google Suites. And yesterday I talked about communicative language teaching, right? But I also led a very teacher-centered lecture. So today I'm going to try to do the opposite. So we talked about this. All right. troubleshooting. These links are all in Google Classroom. And Mohammed, I will add you manually to the classroom in a second. All right. You're welcome. Another issue that we had yesterday was with Google Sheets, and I apologize for that. I think here we have such a diverse group of attendees and participants. And some I know have a lot of experience with Google Suites and Google Sheets, and I think some people had never used them before. Now, for me, Google Sheets is one of the primary, I think I probably spend about 50% of the time that I am awake on days that I am working in Google Sheets. So I draw from this so much in my teaching, in my service, and in my research, that I think I kind of neglected to take the time to do a basic overview of how it works. So I'm going to do a basic overview, and then we're going to do some activities designed to get you comfortable using Google Sheets. So this video that we're going to watch is just 2 minutes long. If you already are comfortable using Google Sheets, you'll probably do the next activity very quickly. And that's okay, because I'm going to use a technique called differentiated instruction to have the people who are very comfortable with this tool experiment and try to challenge themselves with it. So if you have trouble hearing the video, please type in the WhatsApp group or chat, and then Wafa and Ahmed, please let me know. But here we go with the video.
Okay.
Google Spreadsheets is a free web-based application that's similar to Microsoft Excel. You can use it to create and edit spreadsheets for all kinds of projects, including contact lists, budgets, and just about anything else you can imagine. To get started, click the New button, then choose Google Sheets. Next, you might want to take a minute to explore the interface and learn your way around the different tools and features. Let's begin with the area above your spreadsheet. First, we have the toolbar, where you can access different shortcuts that let you work with your spreadsheet. This includes the commands like fill color, borders, and text alignment, as well as formatting options like font color and size. To view even more options, use the menus above the toolbar. These give you access to many of the same tools and features, but with a few additions. For example, under Insert, you can add charts, images, and other special elements to your spreadsheet. In the upper left corner, you can navigate back to the Google Sheets homepage, or you can click here to change the title of your spreadsheet. This is one of the first things I do when I create a new file, so it's easier to find the Google Spreadsheets let you work with your spreadsheet. This includes the commands like fill color, borders, and text alignment, as well as formatting options like font color and size. To view even more options, use the menus above the toolbar. These give you access to many of the same tools and features, but with a few additions. For example, under Insert, you can add charts, images, and other special elements to your spreadsheet. In the upper left corner, you can navigate back to the Google Sheets homepage, or you can click here to change the title of your spreadsheet. This is one of the first things I do when I create a new file, so it's easier to find the file again in the future. You may have noticed that there's no Save button. That's because Google Spreadsheets uses an autosave feature, which automatically saves your file anytime you make a change. Finally, in the upper right corner, you'll find the Comments button and the Share button. These allow you to collaborate with other Google Drive users and quickly manage your sharing options. The rest of the interface is pretty straightforward. There are cells, columns, and rows for your data, plus the formula bar for working with your data. Here you can enter text, formulas,
excuse me, Catherine.
functions for the cell you have
Excuse
selected.
me.
1 second.
Notice how what I'm
Yes,
Well,
Ahmed.
there is something in the chat. Okay, Hiam is asking, can you please maximize the presentation?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I have maximized the presentation, which is why it skipped a little bit and we went back. But thank you for letting me know.
No, it's okay.
All right, I'm going to rewind just a little bit.
And functions for the cell you have selected. Notice how what I'm typing here appears in my selected cell, C4. At the very bottom of the window, you have the ability to add additional sheets to your spreadsheet. This is useful if you have any related information that you want to keep together in the same file. To add a new sheet, click the plus button. To navigate between different sheets, just click the one you want. That covers the basics of Google Spreadsheets. Now that you know your way around, you can start using it to create and store spreadsheets of your very own.
Okay,
GCF Global.
great. I'm going to minimize that. Thank you for the reminder to maximize the screen. Now, that may be new for some people, but it may be second nature to others. I'm going to give a little overview of how I use Google Sheets because this is one of the features that I really do use the most. So in our classroom, our Google Classroom, this example on the right is taken from there. I have a spreadsheet called Digital Tools and Resources. And Google Sheets, one way to use this is to organize and disseminate information. So you can create rows and columns, insert links, insert descriptions. And this is a nice way to both communicate with your students important information and resources, but also to allow them to add resources of their own. And as the video said towards the end, in order to make anything in the Google Suite collaborative, you just have to press share and then change the settings so that anyone who has the link can edit it. And we'll practice that today too. As we did yesterday, we can use Google Sheets to sign up for groups. I use this so much with my students in all of my online courses for group work. Now, I don't assign my students groups. I allow them, actually, sometimes I do assign them groups, but most of the time, I allow them to select their own group based on their interests and their interpersonal relationships with the other people in the group. And to do that, you just have to make sure you have shared the link so that others can edit. I also use this on my own to track feedback to students. So this on the right is an image of a part of a Google Sheet. I had to take the names off of the first column because in my institution, it's called a FERPA violation. So it's violating the law to share any information about your students without their permission. So in the column that's missing down here, I have on the left the name of each student, and across the top, I have the name of each assignment. And so reading journal W3, comments for Linda, reading journal W4, that means week 4. And then I enter my comment to the student. I then use color coding to keep track of green. That means no problems with this assignment. Red, it means the assignment isn't there, they didn't submit it. Or orange means there's some problem with the assignment and I have to read the notes. Maybe they submitted late, or maybe they only fulfilled a part of the assignment. One thing that I don't have here because it's confidential is Google Sheets is a wonderful way to work on research projects as well, or large collaborative projects. You can link it with Google Forms. So if you're conducting research and you get information from participants, it enters the information directly into the sheet. And you can then share the sheet with your entire research team and take notes on how to assign data analysis, or even notes on your data analysis. You can use the color coding to create themes, and you can even tag people in the Google Sheet with a comment, which I'll show you later, that will send them a notification directly to their Gmail saying, this person asked you to do a task. So it's a very nice, I think, way to communicate on large projects with a great number of people. As we saw yesterday, one of the drawbacks is because many people can collaborate at once, you can have some issues with people accidentally deleting things. Right now I'm doing a very large project with 25 people, and people delete things all the time, but we can, as I demonstrated yesterday, recover anything that was deleted in a Google Sheet as well. And I will go over that a little bit later. But for now, we are going to move to Google Classroom. And as soon as I stop sharing the screen, I'm going to ask you to do an individual activity where you create a new sheet and you're going to name it practice. You're going to type in cell A1 the heading name in bold, in cell B1 the heading favorite food in bold. In cell C1, you're going to type the heading favorite hobby, then type the names of 3 friends or family members in cell A2, A3, and A4, and fill out the info for each person in the sheet. If you have time, you can try other options like coloring the cells. And here, actually, I'm going to stop sharing for now. And let's all go over to Google Classroom. So I'm going to take just a second. I am going to manually add our one person who isn't there. Okay, Mohammed, I have invited you to Google Classroom. So you should be able to accept my invitation and enter through the email that you pasted in the chat. First, my dear assistants, were there any further questions from anyone during our
in group in WhatsApp group till now?
Awesome, thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you. Okay, so I think we're all in Google Classrooms. Let me share for a second my screen again. Okay. I'm sorry. Again, as I said, I have 2 windows open, one in which I'm a student in Google Classroom and one in which I'm a teacher. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing with you the window in which I am a student, because that will be the same view that you have. And I really recommend, if you are working in your own course shell, whether it be, I just shared the wrong one. Whether it be, what are you using? Let's see, I use Blackboard and eLearning Commons, but I think you use Google Classroom and free conferencing program. If you have the opportunity to sign in as a student, I recommend that very, very much, because then you can see what your students see. So over here, signing into the classroom, I'm going to classwork. And I've combined yesterday and today into one topic. Now you should be able to see instructions, making a Google Sheet. If you click here and then come down here, this will open the instruction slides, I'm going to click Open with Google Slides, another part of Google Suites. I'm going to wait for it to open. And here you can access the instructions that I just quickly went over in the presentation I gave. So you can look at the instructions and you can look at my example. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is go to Google Sheets yourself and make this sheet. You're going to name it Practice. You're going to type the headings, name, favorite food, and favorite hobby. You're going to type the names down here of 3 friends or family, and then you're going to fill in their information. The instructions are here, and I'm going to add some instructions on an additional slide for people who are already very comfortable with Google Sheets. So you're going to try how to wrap text, how to add numbers, and whoops, how to use with Google Forms, how to change the color, and how to sort numbers. So if you're already very familiar with Google Sheets, you're going to come down here to the slide that says Advanced. If anyone is unfamiliar with Google Sheets, you can find it in the top corner by pressing these bars, scrolling down until you find Sheets. That will add a new.
But I think we also can find it on the left corner when we go to the options in Google Drive, and I think the same applies.
Yeah, that's true. So you can find it a couple of different ways.
Yes.
I find the easiest way, because everything is up here, is to just click here, and then down here there's the plus button to start a new one. But as you said, we can also go to our Google Drive. You got it. And then click
New. I think new. Yes.
And down here you have Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. So those are a couple of different ways to access it. I am going to give you 10 minutes now on your own. We're not going to do breakout groups or anything like that. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Oh, Allah, I think we're listening to birds all around you right now. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to give you 10 minutes on your own to create a Google Sheet following those instructions. If you're really advanced at it already, please try the advanced instructions. And then after 10 minutes, we will report back. Before you go, does anybody have any questions?
Well, it's about the Google Sheet. I mean, once we practice doing things that are found in instructions, is it possible just to send it to you? I mean, or what? It's just to practice and that's it?
It's just to practice and that's it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I would like you to share it with me at the end, but I'll go over the sharing settings at the end after you've done that. All right, so I am going to ask you to take 10 minutes to experiment with Google Sheets, and in 10 minutes, we will all be back. I will be available here, although I'm going to turn off my camera, and also in WhatsApp. Any other questions?
Yes, Kathleen, do we need to share the slides when we finish? We need to share the sheet when we finish.
Yeah, it's a good question. I am going to ask you to share the sheet, but don't worry about that now. At the end of the activity, I'll give you instructions about how to share it with me.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so take 10 minutes. If you're already really comfortable with it, try something new.
I have a question. When we start to initiate a new sheet, there are a number of options. I wonder whether we have to select blank or to-do list or other types of sheets.
That's a great question. Thank you. Select blank, and then you'll get what I just showed you here. So when you
Okay.
select blank, this is what you will get. You can also select templates. I personally don't like using their templates. I like building them from scratch because then I'm very certain how the sheet will work in the end because I've programmed everything into it. So for now, let's work from a blank sheet. That's a very good question. Any other questions?
For the clarification, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kathy. What about the titles? Should we give title randomly, or you have a specific title for any column?
Yeah, for now, let's look at the instructions that I created. I think I asked you to title it favorites, but I don't remember. So we're going to open this Google slide again. And then down here, number 2, give it the name practice. So, oh, I didn't share my screen with you. I'm sorry. You couldn't see what I was doing.
I found it.
Did you find it? Okay,
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
thank you.
So name it practice. Great.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, if you have other questions, you can come back. I'll be here. Or you can text me in the WhatsApp. Assistants, please, if you see questions and I'm not answering them, text me and I will. All right?
We will do without a doubt.
Hello,
Wonderful.
Catherine. Please only share the sample of the Google sheet to the name and the favorite of the food and others. Only they show us this slide.
Oh, so you want me to show you that slide? Did I hear correctly?
Yeah, no, only the sheet, the sample of the sheet when you arrange the name and the paragraph of the food on others.
Yeah, it should be a really simple sheet. So
Okay, no problem.
So it shouldn't take too much time to do. But then if you have extra time in the 10 minutes, you are welcome to experiment. So I added a slide, and in that slide, I think you should be able to see some challenging things. Like in Google Sheets, you can automatically add numbers. You can, what else did I put? You can wrap the text around. You can center and use bold. So after you've made your really basic sheet, see if you can experiment. Can you add colors? Can you bold? Can you add numbers to a column and total it? So try to stretch yourself and see if you can find something new.
And as we like added the name and the food and the favorite of the food and clothes, other things.
You want to add clothes? Is that what you said? I'm sorry. It's just a little hard for me to hear you.
This one, it's only for the practice, it's not in the like you wanted.
Oh, right. Yeah. This is
Okay.
It's just for practice.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Kathleen, could we see the instruction?
Yes. So
Video?
you can access the instructions yourselves. Hold
Yes.
on. Let me show you where to find them. Are you in the Google Classroom?
Yes.
Okay. So, whoops. I just lost you. Let me share the screen. Okay. So
the practice, specifically the practice that you wanted us to make.
So if you come down to March 19th and 20th activity, so in classwork, you scroll down to March 19th activities. Here are the instructions. You can press open up here and it will open.
Making Google Sheet?
Or yeah, I think it's, making a Google Sheet. And if you want to see an example, I thought I put the example there. Oh yeah, the example is on the second slide.
It's all a PPT file. I mean the video.
Oh yeah, I will share. I'm not going to share that with you right now because you won't have time to view it and do the activity, but I will share it afterwards.
Yeah, okay. I see.
All right. So I'm going to stop taking questions now. If you have a question, maybe it's better to text me on WhatsApp so then I can answer your individual question without distracting the other people who are working in the Google Sheets. So for 10 minutes, I'm gonna let you work. And if you encounter any problems, please text me in WhatsApp and I will see you at 8:50. So you've got 4 more minutes. And if you have finished with the basic task, try experimenting. Can you add numbers to a column? Can you make the numbers add up? How do you wrap text? Can you change the color of the cells?
Yes, Catherine, sorry. I have changed the color uh, of the cells.
Awesome.
I
Can you?
complete the example now. I have mentioned names, not just one name, on favorite food, on favorite hobby. Each one, but for example, Hussein like uh, favorite hobby football.
Perfect.
Batul, yes, I have 3 examples, and I have changed the color of the cells and rename the sheets for practice. Rename to practice. Is
Perfect.
this is this enough,
Yeah,
or do you have another activity in this sheet?
that's perfect. So if you're finished, if you go to the directions in Google Classroom and then go to the last slide, there's a request that you try to experiment by adding numbers and seeing if you can add them up.
Just one, if you don't mind, I have to go to classroom and which point?
Um,
What's the new material? Troubleshoot, access to Google Classroom, or which one?
Let me see the name. That is instructions making a Google Sheet.
Making this one.
That's in March 19th and 20th activities. But for now, I think we just have 1 more minute, so you might not have time, and that is fine.
Make Google Sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Instruction. Just open. Open it now. Instruction, individual activity.
Mm-hmm.
We have this example. The same I have done.
And then if
Means
you,
that I add another things, numbers, and what else?
so
Here.
have you opened, hold on, I think we're actually about to be out of time. So hold on. Whoops. One second. Okay. Let me come back here. Oops. Okay, so we are out of time. I see that some people have shared the sheet with me, which is great. I'm going to go over sharing options in a second. Now, I'm sorry, who was asking me about the instructions? Was that Ahmed?
Hussein.
Oh, Hussein, thank you.
Yes.
So,
First
Hussein,
page instruction, just first page, it is head instruction, individual activities. It is empty without instruction, just a title. It's appear for me.
oh no, you're right. I'm sorry, that's because I did it in the wrong account. That's my mistake. That is my mistake. But that's okay. I'll make sure to share that with you in a second. So for now, let's see how to share our sheets. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to come over here to, oops. Sorry, I have too many windows open. Share screen. Okay. So if I come over here to Google Sheets, and I share to share, you come up to this button, and there are several different ways to share. I'm going to just go over how to add people to the sheet. Now, I could add this to my friend Nicole. I can type a message. Hi, this is practice. And if I press send, Nicole will receive an email to this email address that will give her access to my sheet. She's set to be an editor. That means she can change anything in the sheet, but she could also be shared so that all she can do is add comments, or she can just view the sheet and can't change. Did someone have a question?
That's it, thank you. Just I talk about if I can add other things about my sheet, like numbers, other things.
Sure, yeah, we'll look at your sheets in a second. So for now,
could you kindly please repeat the drill
for sharing?
Yeah, for no for the whole drill. I mean, how to make sales, how I mean, the practice, the major practice.
Yes. But first, let me finish explaining about sharing. So this is one way to share. I'm not going to send this because Nicole doesn't need my sheet. She has enough work of her own to do. Another way to share, and this is the way I most commonly share, is to just send someone a link. And you can do that by pressing copying link. But if you click, whoops, sorry, that was really fast. Let me do it again. If you click get link, it says here, anyone on the internet with this link can view. Now, that's fine, but that means they can't edit it or comment on it. And usually if I'm sharing a sheet, it's because I want my students or my colleagues to be able to contribute to the sheet. So I want to change it to editor, and then I'm going to press copy link, done. And then I can come up here to my Gmail and just add the name. My poor friend Nicole gets all of my all of my work. Here's the sheet. And then I send this to Nicole. And when she opens this link, she is able to edit it. So I see some of you shared in the comments. And I think, Hosan, I'm going to show your email. Oh, Hosan can't attend today. That's okay. Oh, great. A lot of you sent me a personal invitation. What I would like you to do right now is send to my Gmail the link so that I can edit your sheet. I'm going to stop sharing so that you can't read all of my personal emails.
Excuse me, Kathleen?
Yeah, Nechervan?
Could you please type in your email?
Sure.
Yeah, because I have it on my other email, not the one I use now. Yeah.
Sure. Oops,
Yeah,
that's a direct message. I'm going to send it to everyone too.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so send me your sheet. Now, let's see. Who has not used Google Sheets before today? Anybody? Was this very new for anybody?
Well,
Yes, it's
actually, for the use of
Yes.
Google Sheet, please. We practice this in doing the final examination. Since we are adopting Google Forms in making our final examination, we normally use Google Sheet. And I wonder whether I can share you my screen, but I don't know the way. How can I share? Maybe
So-
this way, this facility is, I think it is not possible. The host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah, so I would have to make you a co-host for you to share your screen, which I'm happy to do in a second. But first, I'd like to talk with the people
Yeah.
who have not used Google
Yeah,
Sheets
yeah,
before.
it's okay.
So I think Mohammed Abdulra
Yes.
and Ahmed
We
Faiz.
used to use Google Forms, but in fact,
I
with
haven't
regards
used
to
it.
the Google Sheets, I think we have never been accustomed to using it before.
Okay, so Mohammed, I'm going to make you a co-host and we are going to look at your Google Sheet for just a second. So I've made you a co-host, and now if you look at the bottom of your Zoom, you should be able to share screen. So do you see that function? It should be green at the bottom of your screen. You can
Yes,
press.
yes. In fact, I have not made the okay.
So were you not able to make the Google Sheet?
Just simple things. I'll share it, but I just wanna know how can I share it. In fact,
Okay, how can you share your screen or how can you share your sheet?
how can I share my sheet?
Okay, so to share your sheet, hold on one second. Okay, I see a couple of people have already shared. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Now, could you see it now?
Your sheet?
Yes.
Did you share it to my Gmail in the chat?
I made share option.
And then what did you do? Did you add me or did you send a link? Did you?
I just click it on share. That's all.
Okay.
Nothing popped up.
Okay, so to share the sheet, what you're going to need to do is come up here, click on share, and something should pop up. So did this not happen for you?
No.
I think that, Mohammed, you might have a problem with Google having access to your desktop.
This is why I wanted to be more familiar with the Google Sheet in general, so that I can master using it.
Right. Yeah. So that's strange. I think you and I are going to have like a private time to talk about why your computer is blocking some aspect of Google. Yeah. Who is this? Hussein.
I don't want to make obstruction or some.
No. I mean, this is really important because I mean, these are very good tools. So, but I think like it's going to take some time to figure out why your computer is doing that. So we'll do that separately. Is this Hussein? Yes, you had a question. I can't see your name right now because I'm sharing the screen. Hold on. Oh, Ahmed, you had a question.
Yeah, my question is exactly like that. As you know, I have two kind of email. One of the with Gmail, it's already contact with the classroom and with this kind of activity. But when I try to add someone, I should be go back to the with email with my all friends.
Can you repeat your question?
Oh, my question exactly like that. I have two kind of emails. With the college, or second one with this kind of Google class. I already use it. So when I try to share, it is already this email has no contact with any friend. So I can't send to anybody.
Well, if you add the contacts, okay, let me show you what I do about that, because I have a similar problem. I have like 10 different email accounts. I'm going to share,
Okay.
I think now you should be able to see everything in my screen. And I'm gonna, whoops, I'm not gonna do that. That's not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna minimize you guys real quick.
Sorry, Kathy, but he can write the email in the address location and then send that, and it's easy.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
fine. Yeah, it's very easy.
It is pretty easy. I mean, oh, Emma, no, I'm so sorry. My cat is attacking my dog. That's very bad. You can't do that. This here. This is the cat. She's very bad.
Wow.
Don't do
Okay.
that. My gosh. The dog is crying now. Anyway, yes, that is very it's very simple. I think it's kind of annoying. So here I have my two different emails. I have one open in Mozilla Firefox, and this is the email that I created to create our class. And if I want to go in here and type it to my friend Nicole, I can't, because I've never emailed her from this address before. So what I'm going to do is open Google Chrome. This is my personal email. It's the email that I use for most of my life. And here I have my friend Nicole. So I'm going to put her name in here. I'm going to tap on it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come over to my new browser. I'm going to paste. Hi, this is Kathleen. I'm going to send that to her. She'll be very confused about why I'm sending her that email, but she'll figure it out. And now this email account, whoops, should remember her, but I probably have to refresh before it will remember. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Ahmed, does that make sense?
Oh, it's okay. It's already, I do with that, with my same email, so optional email. I sent it, okay. But how could I make this kind of added or something with the setting with my email?
How can you add what, Ahmed?
No, I mean, how could allow it to the other people to make some add to my
to your sheet?
To my sheet, yes.
So let's see. Did you share with me, Ahmed? You shared your sheet with me?
No.
Okay, can you share your sheet with me?
Sorry, it's my kids, so I making noise.
That's okay. My animals are being very bad. No. Now she's trying to break the computer. So one more time in the chat. Okay, I see Hussein shared his sheet with me. So when I look at Hussein's sheet, one second. I get this message that says, I need access. And I think that might be because he didn't.
I got the same message, because I think they need to unspecify the sheet for specific people with sharing. So they are limiting it to certain recipients only, I think, Kathleen.
Yeah, I think so too. So if we come back over here and come up to share. So in order to be able to share, I don't think you should use this option. I think you should, whoops, I think you should come down here and click get link and then change. Come down here and change this to anyone with the link, and then click editor and select editor, done. Oops.
Exactly.
Yeah, but first you need to copy the link, which I forgot to do. So you're going to copy the link, and then you can send, you can come to your Gmail, you can send it to me, just like that. So Hussein, you can also just put it in the Zoom link if that's easier. Can you share yours again?
Yes.
I think this is an important thing to spend a little bit of time on, just because Google Suites, so Google Sheets, Docs, Forms, Slides, they all work in the same way. So if you learn how to use one of these, you should be able to use and share other aspects of Google Suite in exactly the same way. So Hussein, did you send me a new link?
No. I have changed anyone with the link and editor. Copy link.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, that is perfect. And then when I come over here, I can see.
I will share this with.
Okay. Yeah. So can you see?
Yes. No, I have sent it. You can see it.
Perfect. So yeah, I was able to open it now because he changed the settings, which is.
I have changed the colors.
Yeah, so you changed the colors. Perfect.
Yes.
And you can come up here and change the colors. I'm going to work in your sheet for a second because I have access to edit. I can change the color to
letters.
Orange, black. You can change the background by pressing this button. You can make it bigger so that we can all see. Whoops, that's too big.
I have changed the name for practice. The name, the sheet.
Yep, this is perfect. Now, if you make it bigger, some of the materials go away. You can press these 3 dots and you're able to see everything in the sheet. So thank you, Hussein, that is perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go through and just check to make sure that everyone has shared it so that we can all edit. But first, does anyone, I know Mohammed, you're having issues with your computer access, like syncing to Google. That's like a little beyond my capabilities as an English specialist, but
which Mohammed do you mean? Sorry.
You, Mohammed Abdul Razak. There we go. Yes. So for you, I think you're just gonna have to watch today, and we'll set aside a time and fix your computer later.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So for everybody else, who feels really confident with Google Sheets?
I use this for the first time, and I want to get more information about it.
You use it? What did you say, Mahmoud?
I used this Google Sheet for the first time.
For the
this
first
is my
time?
first time. Yeah, and I want to get more information and details about it.
Wonderful. So,
Me too.
Sorry.
Wafa, what did you say?
Yes. This is the first time that I use the Google Sheet, but I find it too easy because I have worked on Google Form before, and it's looked like the same thing. There's no huge difference between them.
Yeah,
it's an Excel-like file.
Yeah, and by working over and over, you will discover the new things and the new options that you can use.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really
I think
Adnan.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Here's my son trying to mimic me as I speak English. So hey, also stop. Yeah, so I think Google Sheet, this is the first time I use it. Well, maybe the second. I'm not very familiar with it, but because we have used Excel before, it's very similar to Excel. The plus points with Google Sheet is, the spreadsheets is the auto-save quality there, and also the sharing quality with others, and many people can work on it at the same time. This, I think, would give it you know, it would give it a plus, you know, to the Excel. And because we are dealing with numbers, and especially with we have what we call at our universities here examination committees or boards. We are dealing with numbers and collecting them, totaling them, and at the same time that we have to be so careful with that. I think with spreadsheet it will be easier and more accurate to finish these tasks, as I said.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
yeah,
Can I
execute
say
means-
something?
Oh, I hear two people. I saw Sadiq.
Okay,
and I know-
okay.
Yeah. To be honest, it's nice to use the sheet with the students sometimes for example, for the phonetic transcription. But the problem is that, dealing with more than 100 students when they start typing their words. So maybe I need to wait for 10 to 15 minutes, because of the problem with bandwidth for the internet. So I believe it's better to send the sheet for the students, share the sheet with them, and then waiting for next day to receive the answers, better than waiting for the same time to receive the words from the students, so they can edit the sheet themselves, and then they the teacher can review the sheet 24 hours maybe after the sharing.
I think that's a wonderful idea. Yeah, one of the downsides to collaborating in any Google Suite with a large number of people is that when you share it and everyone is editing at once, especially if people aren't very familiar with how it works, things can get deleted. Ban, I see your question and I'm gonna let you ask it or try to answer it in just a second. But first,
Dr. Kathleen, is it like an Excel sheet? It looks like an Excel sheet.
yes, exactly. Google Sheets is based on Excel. It's Google's version of Excel. And this is used in accounting as well. So it's a wonderful way to add numbers, find averages, just like you can program mathematical functions into a Microsoft Excel sheet. You can program them into Google Sheets. Yes.
Yes, we already use Excel sheets in finding responses, in collecting responses, and finding summations, but not this sheet. It's Excel sheet, only Excel sheet.
Yeah.
But
So
I think this is more benefit because I can collect all these students' responses in one time instead of jumping from one email to another and wasting time.
yes, so I agree. Google Sheets is very nice. And as I said before, this is probably the tool that I use the most in my teaching, in my research, and in my service, because you can share it with a huge team and collaborate together. You can enter notes and descriptive information. You can also add numbers and then work with the numbers collaboratively. Ban, you had your hand up for a while. What is your question?
I make the sheet, but I couldn't share it. There is a note here said, sorry, sharing is unavailable at this time. Please try again later. I tried.
Same problem.
I tried many times. The same message opened to me. Try another time.
What
is the problem?
Can you read the message to me? I'm going to write it down and I'm going to research that. I haven't seen that message before.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a way around it, but I'm going to have to look it up. So what is the message?
Sorry, sharing is unavailable at this time. Please try again later.
Weird. Does anyone here right now have any ideas about why that could be or how to fix it?
I assume there's a poor internet connection. Sometimes I face the same circumstances. I try to send something or share something, but because of the poor internet connection, I sometimes receive such kind of messages.
Yes, I agree with Wafa.
Thank you, Haim. Yeah, that does sound probable. maybe I have seen that message before, but just for a moment, I'm gonna talk to my partner about that, who is in educational technology. And let's see, who asked me that? That was Ban, right? So I'm putting your name down in my notes with that message, and I'll email you later. And if you have an issue that we can't fix kind of quickly through WhatsApp or email, then like Mohammed, I'm gonna ask you to maybe find a special, like, unique time that we can meet.
Kathleen, can I ask a question,
Thank
please?
you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sadiq.
Yeah, could you please ask your husband, on behalf of me, could we know the students, the emails of the students who are typing in the Google Sheet? Sometimes the students try to make an answer instead of another student. So, sometimes this type of cheating here. So could we know, could we know the emails of each cell, in front of each student, so we can know, the students who are typing in on behalf of other students? Is there any possibility to do this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think that there is a way to do that in Google Sheets. I will ask him, but we've talked a little bit about Google Forms, and I would like to share my screen with you really quickly. I think this is, all right. I'm gonna come over here. This is the class Gmail, and I'm going to use Google Forms, which I click here, come down here to Google Forms. I'm going to create a blank form. I'm going to title it example. I'm going to add this question. Now, if I send this link, copy.
I'm sorry, Kathy, I think she has to go to the permission setting. Then in this location, she can change the permission.
Jian.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Ban's, the issue that Ban was having?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Hold on. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. Ban, I'm gonna make you a co-host so that you can share your screen. Participants. Jean. Make a co-host. Okay. John, do you see how to share your screen at the bottom?
Yes, wait a minute. She has to go. Wait. Before sharing the form or the sheet, she has to go to the share with the pupil, and she can find and go to the setting. You can find editor can change permission. If she has to select these two, to take these two, do you find it? Share with pupil setting, and then take these two. Edit can change permission and share. Otherwise, she cannot share it. She has to take these two, then she can share it. Otherwise, she cannot.
Oh, interesting. Maybe I've had this set for so long. Okay, so if you come up to share and then click that icon.
Yes.
You want to make sure that both of these boxes are clicked.
Like I want to share it with myself. My institution's email. Then now it's ready. Shared.
Wonderful. So you can. Okay, so we can try that.
Yes.
Thank you. That was very useful.
All
right, hold on. So just to come back to Google Forms really quickly, and then we're going to move on. Untitled form. where did I put it? Okay. I'm going to give it a title example. I'm going to send this through a link, shorten URL. I'm going to come over here. Oh, I pasted it already. Okay. I'm just going to quickly fill out that form. Well, anyhow, when we come to our forms now, if you view the responses on your form, and you click this symbol, which says create spreadsheet, you select create new spreadsheet, create, and this creates I'm just going to black these out so that not everyone can see everyone's names. This creates a Google Sheet with all of the responses that have been entered. Now this functions exactly in the same way as a Google Sheet. So I can color the responses. I can share this with other people so that we can all collaborate together. And this is one way to potentially prevent cheating, because if each student has a unique link to the form, then it should be challenging for them to enter false responses. Now, Ahmed, you had some other uses for Google Sheets that you wanted to talk to us about. I am going to ask you to unmute yourself, and I'm going to give you permission to share the screen.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you should have permission to share the screen. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to tell us about how you use Google Sheets in your context.
Well, actually, it's a matter just to obtain, let me say, information that is given from the, final examination.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me say the screen just now. Well, it may take time because you see it's not responding.
Yeah, I think that probably has to do with the internet connection.
Yeah. Well, I believe that's okay now.
Oh, I still can't see your screen.
Yeah.
Can you describe it to us instead of sharing, maybe, Ahmed? Because I think maybe the bandwidth is too much to Zoom and share screen at the same time.
Oh, Mr. Ahmed, you can take screenshot for the presentation and send it in the WhatsApp group so we can see it instead of sharing if you cannot share it.
Or actually, it shared. I think it went through. The connection came back. That's wonderful.
Kathy, I think it's very easy because we use this form in our committee examination. We write down in each column the name of the topics, and then the in English, then in Kurdish, and in Arabic, because we have Bolognese system. Then we write down the name of the lectures and the emails. Then this is the you can call just like the cover of the form. Then after that, we add extra, we link extra form to this sheet by asking the teacher to write or to add the degree or the score of for each student and the student's name. then as you know, you can calculate the number or the score, and it's easy.
Perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
I believe that you can see my screen now.
No, yes, it's
Well,
it's right.
it's okay. Now I have here Google Sheet, as you see in my drive. If you can see, these are, let me say, things that are related to the final examinations that are made last year. And with these things, you see now, we used Google Sheet just to obtain information that is related to the final examination. I mean, the results. Here with sheets, we are not using sheets just to insert any information. It's just to obtain what is what is found in when let me say the Google form is ready just to what to open, just to check the results of the students. We have, let me say, the Google Sheet just to obtain the final the results of the students. And I believe here I'm going to give you some examples about these things in the way that you are going to see certain, let me say, information which is obtained there, just like the name of students, their Gmails, their results, their responses, the times that they send their own responses, all these things. But actually, for today's session, it's let me say the first experience that we add information. This is the idea. The process of adding information to the sheet is it is the first experience that we have. It's only just to get information from the sheets, not to add. And the second thing just to be mentioned is about how to make it interactive. This is the idea. This is the first time that we experience such thing with the Google Sheet, in the way that we make it interactive with others, to share it and just to make it more interactive. So far, the uses of Google Sheet for us is just to obtain information, no more, no less. It's just to get things that are brought from Google Forms results when we have the results of the exams that are made for the final examination. Actually, I'm trying just to have some examples, but I think my laptop is very slow in the way just to have these things. I'm going to try with another, let me say, browser. Okay, that is Opera. Okay, instead of Google Chrome. But still, it is. I believe it is very slow.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's leave this one. Let's leave this one for now, because I would love to just have a little bit of time to go through the other people's questions. But I really appreciate you, Ahmed, sharing how you. Oops, sorry. I appreciate you sharing how you use this in your own context. I'm going to ask you to stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Here, I think, okay. And then I see one question in the chat that I would like to answer, and it is, can Google Sheet open with Excel? Yes, it can. I'm going to share my screen and just quickly show you how. So that's a function that we use a lot. Share screen. Okay. So if I come down to this practice, if you click File and then Download, you can download this to Microsoft Excel. And then at the bottom of my screen, this will depend on what browser you're using, where this pops up, but you can click it and then you won't be able to see it, I think, because it opened in a separate window. But now that's on my desktop, I can save it to my own desktop. Are there any other questions about using Google Sheets? What I would like to do now is I am going to put you in breakout groups, and I would love for you to discuss in groups for about 15 minutes how you use Google Sheets, Google Forms, or any other of these Google products, but let's focus on Google Sheets and Forms in your own teaching, research, or professional work, or even personal work if it's relevant. So I am going to type those instructions into our chat. For 10 minutes, your own personal relationship to Google Sheets and Forms. So breakout groups. One second. As your breakout group opens, you're welcome to join it. And you're going to speak together. If you have any problems while you're in the breakout group, you can let me know. Okay, so Ban, Mahmoud, and Wafa, were you able to join? Great. Ban, were you able to join the breakout group? Wafa, were you able to join? It should have popped up for you. Hello, you were able to join us again. That's great. Can you unmute yourself? Okay. Oh. Hey, did you get kicked out of your group?
Actually, we left the room because we've finished our discussion.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna give everybody else a message saying that we're gonna end soon. Okay, so how was your discussion?
It's very useful because she said something of information about Google and how to access and say and take and giving information.
Oh, great. So had you both used this before?
Yes, I used and the same.
Great.
Yeah, for me, I used it before and it was very helpful. And time saving.
Excellent.
I used it before for the something and she used it before the other things.
Great. So you were able to compare kind of different ways to use Google Sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is perfect. Oops. I gotta minimize my screen. All right, everyone should be coming back in about 30 seconds. Okay, did anybody encounter any new strategies from their group or partner that they would like to share with the class?
Can I?
Yeah, Adnan, go ahead.
It's actually not maybe new, but Mr. Mahmoud and I discussed about the functions. Afwan, Mr. Mohammed
Yes.
and I discussed about the functions of the spreadsheet. He is not very familiar with it, as I am. I'm a little bit more familiar because I have worked also on Excel as well before. He did as well. And we both agreed that it needs practice and training before we get more people to work on the sheet together, because it's
Need
kind of
solidarity, Sadnan.
Yeah, solidarity, cooperation, and because it's also risky to work online, especially if somebody can delete what you have done before accidentally. Okay, so we need some kind of or level of training for everybody in the team if we are working on a team, to get to know the functions of the spreadsheet. So if you go up to the far right bar there is function. If you just click on function, you will see some functions. For example, the sum up function and the average. And I was messing up with the spreadsheet a while ago when you asked us to do so. I entered random numbers of assumptions for students and said student 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. And then I was summing up the numbers. If you click on sum, it will give you the sum, but after you highlight the numbers that you want to total, and then you click hit enter, and it will give you the sum. And the same for average. If you want to average them, go to average in the functions and then highlight the cells that you want to average.
So Adnan, I'm actually going to make you a co-host, and we'll see if you can share the screen quickly. I would love for you to share the screen. If the internet connection is not good enough, then maybe we'll skip it. But I just need
It's
you to
good.
tell
Just
both.
give me 2 minutes, and I will share my
Wonderful, wonderful. I think
screen because I'll open my computer.
perfect. And if you can't, that's totally fine. I'm gonna
I
post
totally
some,
can.
wonderful. I'm gonna post some training videos later as well. And you brought up a really good point about training. I think that's why yesterday we had trouble all signing up for groups. I'm so used to working in Google Sheets with teams that are already really fluent that I forgot to provide you with the proper training to enter all of your information in the sheets
Excuse me,
first.
Kathleen,
So-
but we had in the WhatsApp group, Benjamin facing a problem in entering our Zoom session.
I know, I saw that. Do we have more problems, additional problems, Wafa?
Actually, he's trying to enter, but he cannot. So he may need to type the passcode. Okay, I've already put the passcode. I don't know if he can enter the session or not.
So he should be able, thank you so much for interrupting with this. I appreciate it a lot. He may be experiencing internet connectivity issues, in which case, Wafa, could you type to him that if he can't rejoin the Zoom with this link and passcode, that he can always view the video afterwards?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you very much. All right. So yeah, Adnan, your point about training is really, really important. Whenever you're working on a collaborative document, it's extremely important to provide training.
Yes.
Are you able to share your screen yet?
Maybe we can have another discussion from another team, and then I will be ready. Okay.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Did anybody else have anything they wanted to share from their group discussions?
Actually, me and Ahmed and another one, Mahmoud, I don't know his name.
Yes,
We discussed, we discussed the other forms like Google form and how do we get benefit from this form as a teacher. We discussed that we can use the form in our daily quizzes and exams, assignment, I mean, with the students, and even we can use it when we search or when we make research to collect the data. Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, I use it for those two purposes as well. It's very useful.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other groups? All right, I am going to just quickly go back to Adnan's point about deleting things on the form. Now, that is very true. It is possible to delete things, but one wonderful feature of all of the Google Suites is you can recover whatever it is that you have deleted. So,
sorry, Kathy, but even you can manage your sheet. I mean, if you are doing the sheet or the form by yourself, you can manage it. You can control it, just like letting me to editing it or removing the information. So you are the decider. You can decide if I can remove or delete or not. Yeah.
Exactly, right. So if you're working with a lot of people, you can use, instead of the make everyone edit, you can change to everyone can
select
comment.
You can select the group that you want to edit. Yeah.
Exactly. But so yesterday when we were all signing up for groups and we had some problems with people deleting things, I was able to recover the version. If you come back up here, file, edit, view, over here, you have a message that says when the last edit was. If you click on that, you can, oops, I have to move your faces. You can click these 3 dots and see previous versions. And you can restore the different versions as well. So Hussein, I'm sorry, I'm working in your sheet because I'm an editor, but I can see here when he first started making the sheet, I can click restore this version. And now the sheet looks like it did at whatever time that was, 8:45 in the morning.
Sorry, Kathleen.
Yes.
Is this option available in the Google form?
It's available in the, so that's a really interesting question. It is available in the Google form responses when you link the responses to Google Sheet. So yeah, when you collect responses, you can restore previous versions. Let me unshare. But
Kathleen, I'm ready. Sorry for interruption.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, great. Thank you.
So whenever you finish.
Thank you so much. So you can't, though, do it in the form itself with the questions. Does that, so I think that answers your question. And one thing that I will do is I will post training links and videos in Google Classroom so that you can review these also throughout the week, and so that I can add more specific answers to these questions. All right, Adnan, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to share your screen and show us how you work with numbers.
Okay, can you please enable me to?
Yeah, I think I enabled you already.
No.
More. Oh no, I'm sorry. I think it removed. There you go. You're the co-host now.
Okay, I'm sharing now. So, okay, here's this. Can you see the spreadsheet? So if we say this is student 1, come on. Okay, this is student 1, this is student 2, and this is 3. Oops. 3. And then if we have, for example, this student who got 10, this student who got 23, and this is 11. So if I want to make a total here, I would go to function, which is here. So, and I hit sum. So maybe here. Oops, okay. So sum, it gives me the function, but I need to highlight the cells that I want to sum up. So I hit this one and then control on my keyboard so that I keep the function going. So this cell, pressing and holding control, move to the second, keeping the control pressed, move to the third, and then enter. And here's the total. So it's 44. Okay. If I want to do the second function, for example, average, I do the same. So the first cell, control, the second, the third, and then enter. So the average of these 3 marks is 14.6. Okay, so that's the function, which actually resembles the one in Excel, but this is more dynamic and it's auto-saved. That's the cool thing about it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. This is wonderful. It's a great way to track grades. And one thing that I like about the way you entered that is you entered student 1, student 2, student 3 instead of their names. So different institutions have different policies about this. One downside to using the Google Suite is it's not, it doesn't meet the security standards of all institutions. So it doesn't meet the standards of my institution, the University of Massachusetts. So I never enter my students' full names in the spreadsheet. I enter their nickname or only their first name, or I create a code like student 1 is Mahmoud, for instance. Student 2 is Thana. And that way you can have all the information, but you're not exposing your students to any breaches of security. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. We only have 5 minutes left. And so I never gave you a break today. I'm so sorry about that. I'm going to come back to I'm going to come back to these the slideshow. So let me put it in presentation mode so it's big for you. This is the activity that we were going to do yesterday, but we ran out of time for. And especially if using Google Suites, Google Classroom, Google Sheets, Google Docs is new for you, I really encourage you to take time outside of our time together to practice on your own. And I know 2 students already completed their scavenger hunt. So this was designed to be a group activity, but I'm going to ask you to try to complete the scavenger hunt to get to know our Google Classroom on your own before we meet again next weekend. I'll show you how to find that in a second. Another thing to try, which I know some people have tried before, is experimenting with your Google Jamboard. And oops, Hussein, I think I'm going to mute you. I hear a lot of extra noise. So oops. All right. So if you have time, try these activities. Jamboard, making a doodle poll, a Google Sheet. Try the 2 activities that I just showed you in the slides. If you don't have time, that's okay. This is not a requirement. It's just if it's useful for you because it's new. And one more time before we go, I am going to share the Google Classroom so that you can see where to find these things on your own. I know a lot of you have already found them. Google Classroom, share. So when you come to Google Classroom, if you scroll down, these are the activities that we did today, the instructions for making a Google Sheet. I will also post the video that I shared in the Google Slides. I will additionally share the slideshow from yesterday and today here, so you can go through all of the notes from yesterday and today. If you would like to try the scavenger hunt, you click in Group Scavenger Hunt and it will open the activity for you. So you can follow the instructions here. And then coming back, if you would like to try experimenting with a Jamboard, that was planned for last week, March 13th. So you can open Getting to Know You Jamboard, and you can create a Jamboard of yourself with images or words that are about and important to you. The directions are in the top left corner. And finally, I will post the video recordings of our meetings in the video recording folder. So this is a Google Drive. So when you open Google Drive, it will take you to the recordings. I haven't uploaded yesterday's or today's yet. The one last thing is I really appreciate everybody who has shared resources. And you've been doing this kind of 2 ways. The way that I would love to share is by clicking up here in Digital Tools and Resources, sharing resources, whoops. And then if you click on this Google Drive image, you can come here and you as a student can upload any files that you would like to upload. The other way to share, which is also fine, is through the comments. So Adnan has shared, Amani has shared, and I think Ahmed also shared in a separate place, which was maybe in our announcements.
Stream. But please, if you don't mind, I believe that we need just to specify time just to discuss these shared resources. I mean, just to analyze them, to evaluate them, to see how can we make use of them. It's not only sharing for the sake of sharing, but we need just to specify time in our session just to discuss an item. I believe it would be very fine just to discuss and analyze, because you see, no one perfect. Maybe things that I did, there are so many mistakes, for example. We need just to modify these things. We need just to go ahead. So what do you think?
I think that's a great idea. It's always useful to have a collaborative share and critique. I don't think we're there yet because I want to make sure everyone has access to the Google Classroom and knows how to navigate it. So let's focus this week on, can you navigate the Google Classroom? If you haven't completed the scavenger hunt yet, please try to complete the scavenger hunt for next week. And then Ahmed, I love that suggestion, and we can do that a little bit later in our time together. And for now, I think we are finished with today's session. I don't have a meeting after this, so I am happy to stay on if you would like, if you have any further questions. And otherwise, thank you so much for coming, and I will see you next week. The times will be 2 p.m. on Friday and 3 p.m. on Saturday, your time. All right, so take care and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kathleen. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you so much.
Actually, I have a question about interactive hunt. I mean, the file itself doesn't have the, let me say, the facility to write, I mean, to print. Here, I opened the file itself. We have file, edit, view, tools, you see now, and then at the end we have notes. But here we don't have the, I mean, the facility just to print.
Where are you? Where first, Ahmed? Tell me, where are you looking in our Google Classroom?
Well, in the Drive, I have the file, I mean, found there, and just I open it, I found all these things and the questions. You see, I tried just to my file, I mean, my Drive, my Drive here in my Google account. I found this file is about interactive hunt interactive activity. Once I open it, I saw it's just like an image. I cannot print. You see the questions that are found, and then we have notes. I believe that this is, I mean, the space that we want just to add to print to answer these questions. But how can we answer if we cannot print? This is my.
Okay, hold on. So first, let's back up. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not in discussions, right? Are you in digital tools and resources?
No, just now. Well, I'm going to be with the class just now, just to follow you. Yes. Well, I'm just viewing. I mean, classwork. Okay. So tell me where to go.
Well, first I need you to clarify, what are you looking at? What are you trying to print?
Well, I want just to print, I mean, the answers for the questions that are related to hunt interactive activity.
So this group scavenger hunt, is that where you are?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we open this, and then up here, it opens as a Google Doc, right? So if you open the Google Doc and then press File, you can download this file to Microsoft Word. After it opens as Microsoft Word, you can print it just like you can print any other.
I see. So it should be changed to doc in order just to have the facility to print.
Yeah, you'll need to download it to a doc before you can print it. But what I would prefer is that you actually type your answers online. Because after you type your answers, like my answer here, then I can see your answers, and you don't need to share it with me because it's in our Google Classroom. So it would be my preference that you work online, but some people really prefer to work in print. And to do that, you come down to File, Download. You can download it as a Microsoft Word or as a PDF, and then you can print.
Kathleen, could you please on the scavenger hunt file, could you please tell us a little bit about the picture in the first sheet?
Oh, sure.
The items that being listed in the first sheet, could you tell us, clarify what is the intention behind putting them?
So
yes.
This picture of the whoops. Huh?
Yes. Do we have something to do with these phrases?
Yeah, so I included these pictures because I wasn't sure how familiar everyone was with the scavenger, the idea of a scavenger or the idea of a scavenger hunt. So
so it's a logo.
It's not a logo exactly. This is a way to what I call, or what is called in communicative language teaching, to activate students' schema or to use visual aids. So this is a scavenger bird. I think it's a vulture.
I see.
And a scavenger hunt, I'm not sure how familiar you are with using scavenger hunts. This is something that is used a lot in teaching children in the US, but it can also be used to teach adults. So I found these images on Google. This is an image of a scavenger hunt from a children's summer camp. So you give the children a list and you tell them, okay, you have a half hour, go find a smooth rock, go find flower petals, go find a shell. And as they find them, they collect them in their basket and they bring them back to their teacher, who says, okay, who found a shell? And the person who found the most items is the winner of the scavenger hunt. And usually there's a prize. So that's why these images are here. But scavenger
So it's a language teaching method.
It is a language teaching method. Yes. But they're also used online. So in the University of Massachusetts, or most US universities, have a course for freshmen, first year students who are just getting used to the university or their new community. Maybe they moved to a different city for school. And as a tool for university students, we also use scavenger hunts as well. And they can be virtual. So this is a virtual scavenger hunt that's designed to facilitate your ability to collaborate in Google Docs. So we got to answer the question from Ahmed about, well, how do you print a Google Doc? So we get to troubleshoot those questions. But then as you complete these activities and type them here, my goal for you in this program is that you will gain familiarity with how to find things in our Google Classroom, how to add things to our Google Classroom, and how to download things from our Google Classroom. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. That really makes sense.
I have a question.
Yes, I'm not sure who spoke.
It's me, Mahmoud.
Mahmoud, yes, what is your question?
As far as the scavenger hunt is concerned, shall we work on it individually or within groups?
Work on it individually. We're abandoning the groups for that. I think my hope was that yesterday we would all work in groups and it would be collaborative. But I think it will be very challenging to work on it collaboratively outside of our time together, because you're all so busy with your own teaching duties that I don't want to add an extra requirement that you all communicate outside of the course. So thank you for that question. You can do them collaboratively, which was my initial intent, but for now, I would like you to do that individually.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you so much. I think, let's see, my assistants, thank you so much for monitoring the WhatsApp and the chat. Thank you for your patience as we
You're more than welcome. And you're welcome.
That's okay. You are welcome, by the way. I mean, working as a volunteer, okay, sometimes it is too easy because there are no questions. I'm only monitoring and that's it.
Yeah, I know you got an easy day today. Poor Mohammed had a very hard day yesterday.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, I'm going to leave.
All right, I'm gonna leave too.
Okay.
Take
Okay.
care and be in touch
Goodbye.
throughout the
Have a
week.
nice day. Have a nice day.
All right,
See you
bye-bye.
next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, doctor.